Hi chums, I have decided that this is going to be my last ever YouTube video with this camera because I've bought a new one. Yeah, it finally happened. It only took me about 2 years. You see, only for the guy who invented procrastination I would get nothing done. But I've been debating this for some time. I had never intended to put videos on YouTube apart from maybe one or two at the start, and then it kind of grew legs and ran. And I've been debating which camera to get. I ended up getting this one here. It's a Sony, no it's not, it's a Canon Legria FS306. I was looking at the Kodak PlaySport, a super camera. Jason has one and I'm very impressed by it. Rick Van Man has one as well. Both super cameras. But then I discovered they're bringing out an autofocus version in June, so it meant waiting a bit longer. But more importantly, I discovered that there are issues with editing high definition film. Now, I can't edit. It's something I have to learn. So I didn't want to have to go through all that and then buy another computer because, like everybody else, 3 years ago my computer was state of the art and now it's just rubbish. But I didn't want to have to buy another computer to support the camera. So I went for standard definition because really I put videos up in 480 and I watch videos in 360, and I've discovered that a lot of people stay at 360, 480, some 720 because it downloads faster. So for that reason I went for standard definition. I tried to make this video with this camera here, but it's very hard to video your new camera with your new camera. And even, look, what I'm trying to do is without breaking it. Even turning the screen round didn't help either, so I had to get this one out again. But anyway, that's what it is, and here we have all the gear that goes with it, loads of leads and the dreaded instruction books. You know you're getting old when you start reading instructions. I should have decided to stay being 16 all my life, because when I was 16 I knew everything and now I know nothing. So I have to read this book. It'll take a couple of days to get things sorted out, but hopefully I'll get round it okay. Um, I'll never do videos of the quality of like Rick Van Man and Gary Entropy, but I'm going to try to learn to edit in order that I don't have to do one-shot videos, because sometimes you make mistakes and have to do them twice. So that's where we are. New camera. Hopefully it'll make a difference in a couple of days. And I'm well aware that there were audio issues with this camera. It's just an ordinary Samsung digital camera. It does video. And I apologise for the audio issues, and I appreciate the fact that you've all been very patient with me. So I've gone for that. This camera cost, would it be £165, which is about $240. It was £255, which is $408. So I was happy enough with that. It's a bit more than I was going to buy, but when I took everything into consideration, I decided in this one because I spent a couple of nights going through review sites, and this is the camera that seemed to come out on top for easy use and reliability. The other thing I liked about it was a Canon. I had a Canon camera before. The best one I ever had was a Canon SureShot, a 35mm camera. It was a brilliant camera that I worked very hard until it decided to jump off the side of a boat one day. Well, that's what I told my wife anyway, and I think she believed me. So I kind of missed it. But I'm back to Canon. A thank you to Dale. He has already told me that it's a good wee camera. So hopefully it'll be as good as it said it is. It'll hopefully do my job. Right, so that's my new camera and all my bits that I'm terrified of and the dreaded instruction book, but I'll get there eventually. So, hydroponics. Right, everybody's getting into hydroponics, and I decided I ended up in hydroponics by accident. Here's my hydroponics. What happened was I was preparing some salad last week, and I had a romaine lettuce. And whenever you work with your romaine lettuce, you end up with a wee tiny bit in the bottom, wee tiny leaves. So I've been watching Jihad Akkadian, and he was replanting a leek, and he said something that I really loved. He was replanting the leek, and he said, "I've eaten this leek 4 times," and I thought that was brilliant. So I've decided to do this, just see what will happen, and look, they're growing. That's about a week old, and this one is about 3 or 4 days old. And the difference is this one has just water, but this one has nutrients, like all us superb hydroponists do. And the nutrients are 1 pellet of chicken manure. Now, I don't know if it's making much difference, but now they've got a record of where they were today. I'll do another one in a week's time and see what difference there is. The chicken manure goes into sort of a slurry, and there's no smell of it, which is a good thing because she who must be obeyed might have something to say about it if it was smelly. But that's my hydroponic experiment. I'm not going to get into the real thing yet because I have so many things on my plate I just haven't time. But this is just a bit of fun on the windowsill. So, oh yeah, pens. I mentioned the Gary Gardens that I was making pens. So I'll show those because I'm involved in a wood turning site called Wood Turners Resource, and they don't believe anything unless they see it. So here's the evidence and the proof that I am making pens. So if I can open the box, it'd be good. Yeah. So, oh, just put the light on here. Hold on.
Okay.
So there's the pens, and those are made out of Corian worktops. They're a slimline kit. This one's €1. Um, this one's €1. My first ever, and I made a mess of it. I put the center band on the wrong way around and destroyed it. So that's scrap. But the reason I'm doing so many pens, I've done about 30 this last sort of week or so, or over the weekend. I want to get into these Euros, and there's a bit of precision turn. Well, it's all precision turning, but there's a particular bit you do in this where you turn a tenon here to support this band. And I wanted to do this as a production run, as basically as a skill builder. So when I go to do the Euros, I've got the technique pretty well sharpened up. So those are the pens. They're quite nice. Oh, that one there. That's not Corian now. That's an acrylic blank. You buy these, they're about £3 each. What's that? About $5 each. They make a lovely pen, but it's kind of a waste because look at all the width of that. But there's the blank you start with, you know. So there's a lot of beef in that, and you could make bigger pens. So that's where I'm going with the Euros. This is my pen Arbor. Now you might wonder what it's doing way up there, but mostly, you know, I have back problems and neck problems. If I put the Arbor down here, I can't then lift my head up enough to see what's going on where the pressing's happening. So I just got some old bits of timber and built myself this little stand for it, which makes it very easy to use. I'll try and change hands here without putting my finger over the mic. So it's just basically a case of press down and then you can press your parts on. Now there is an issue here with this. To do longer parts, I'm going to change hands here because I'm not right. To do longer parts, I just turn that round and I made a little insert here to put a longer piece in. But the problem there is whenever I press that transmission into the pen, it lifts the front of the arbor because it's not part of it. It's pressing on the wood. So I'm going to get my mate to weld in a piece of steel here to make this all one unit, and then I'll be pressing on the actual unit, on the arbor itself, and it won't tip back on me. But it's very handy for me because it means I can see, I'm almost, well, I have to stoop a wee bit, but not very much. I can see what's going on. Just for those who don't make pens, there's the process. You just start off with a piece of Corian, and then you drill the blanks, and you put brass tubes in them, glue them in, and then you go back and you trim the ends of the blanks so that they're level. And then you turn your pen in the lathe, and then there's all the bits you put in. There's the end cap there, those two bits, and that's your front piece, the nib, and then that's the transmission there, and then your center band, and when it all goes together, you end up with a pen. So that's it. Right, and just while I'm on pens, I'll give a wee tip for the wood turners. A bit more light would be good. There's a pen on the mandrel ready to go. And for the wood turns, I have tried different chisels to do this, and I've found that the best one for making pens, which are very small, is the biggest chisel I've got. That's a 1.5 inch roughing gouge, 1.25 inch, sorry. And it's brilliant because, I'll show you why. If you're working on something very precise like the end here, big long handle, and a movement here becomes a very, very small movement, up at the cutting edge. So it means you can do very precise work with a very big chisel. And I've found this the best tool of all for doing pens. And another wee tip, if I'm lucky enough to have two lathes here, I bought this off a mate, but it's very handy because I've got my pen mill in this lathe, which means that if something goes wrong here, like the other night I was cutting here and it just chipped out a wee tiny bit, about 1 millimeter of the blank, but I could see the tube. So I took it off the mandrel and put it on here and trimmed it down again and took the bad piece out, and I was able to put it back on the mandrel and finish the pen. So that was really handy. Rather than having to dismantle everything and rearrange the lathe, having the second lathe was really, really useful. So it kind of speeds up the pen making. It takes about an hour per pen, but the reason it takes an hour is because over 3 days or 2 days, I would drill the blanks and glue them like this. That's I don't know what sort of wood that is. There's one there. That's lead wood there. That one. That's wood that sinks in water. It's denser than water. But you drill the blanks and glue them and then leave them overnight so the glue sets properly. If you don't let it set properly, when you're trimming the blanks, you spin the brass tube out, which is very annoying. So it takes 2 days. You trim them the night before, leave them 24 hours, and then um, finish them the next day. I have used super glue. I don't like super glue. It's too brittle and it doesn't seem to go off as well as the polyurethane glue. So that's what I use for all the pen blanks now. Just one other final thing for the wood turners. I've got some monkey puzzle. I uh, I got this from Guildford Castle. I don't know what age it is. Those rings say 76 years, but those are from the top of it. They reckon that the tree's near 200 years old. And you can see here, look, these faces, right? Where's the face? There's a face there, and another face there, and another face there. These appeared when I went out to get something one day, and I came back and these faces were on, and they were. That was my daughter drew those on, and oh, God love her, she's only 28, so I think she's too much time on her hands. But anyway, that's my monkey puzzle. Those weigh about 300 pounds each. They're not easy to move, so I had to get my mates to help me with that because I didn't want to end up with sort of vertebrae lying everywhere. So there we are, folks. I'll be offline. I'll be doing no videos for a couple of days until I get this camera sorted out. But once I do, hopefully it'll be all flying from there and you'll be able to hear me. So all the best now. Bye bye.